Have you ever had a game or a show or whatever that you had a clear memory of? One that you distinctly remember parts of, but you can't quite dislodge the memory fully to recall what it is? Something that lurks within the dark recesses of your mind and you can't quite shine the light on? Mine was a fighting game I rented from my local video store as a kid. I remember a tiny bit about it. There was a ninja who I picked to play, but got mad when he didn't have the ninja outfit present on the select screen. There was a fat man in a gaudy gold suit you fought near the end of the arcade mode too. There's a PlayStation 1 game, a 3D fighter as well, and honestly, that's all I can remember. Well, I had a good bit of luck recently and managed to accidentally stumble across it. A video clip showed up in my YouTube feed. It enlightened me to the game's name. That game? Kensei, Sacred Fist, a Konami property of all things. Unique among fighters at the time for not having an arcade release and instead just being dropped straight to consoles on these dates because I don't feel like reading them out for once. I'm very happy to have finally caught my video game white whale here so I can finally relive everything I forgot. Whether it's worth it or not, well, we'll find out now, won't we? Kensei starts with a pretty short, simple intro and dumps you into a simple menu. It's got a good bevy of modes available, but like any fighting game player, I hit training mode and normal mode more than anything. Which, normal mode is kind of a strange name for arcade mode, but alright, do it how you want to do it. Let's take a quick look at the base roster. We have Jin Kazama right here, quite literally. Oh, look, it's Steven Seagal. Many fighting games have Bruce Lee as one of their characters. This one has Steven Seagal. Then we have Alan here, resident Hot Topic shopper, clearly. Cloud Strife, but from Germany. Hyoma, our resident ninja. A bunch of hot chicks. And David. David Human. Yeah. His last name is Human. Straight up, the thing that sticks out most with Kensei on first look is how kind of bland the roster is. Typically there are characters that stick out amongst a cast of fighting game people. For instance, if you boot up Tekken 3, which came out earlier in the same year as Kensei, you'd notice King, the leopard masked luchador, Yoshimitsu, the alien-looking blade master, and Paul with his gigantic hairdo. Here, well, Hyoma's a cool ninja at least. Alan also kind of sticks out, but not in a good way, at least in my opinion. The game does have a boss and a sub-boss too. Let's check them out real quick. There's Zhou, who is the fat man in the gaudy suit I mentioned earlier. He has super gimpy legs and is a Chinese mob boss. And Saya, who just kind of looks like a generic karate man. Yeah, quite the intimidating final two there. Goro and Shang Tsung. Shao Kahn and Mataro, or Kintaro. Sagat and M. Bison, Joe and Saya Tsubaki. Unfortunately, they're all pretty bland. Nobody really grabbed me. Let's check out their bios in the manual and see if it helps flesh them out at all. Okay, David here looks like a genuine little person. His proportions are all weird. I like that his dislikes are just weaklings, though. I share the same sentiments, admittedly. Heinz, from Germany. He likes Wiener Schnitzel. The developers knew nothing about Germany, so they just gave him the first thing they could think of. Sadly, no lederhosen alternate outfit, just hipster flannel. I'm also confident Douglas's bio is just a Steven Seagal movie, but I have no time to watch 58 movies that I'm not confident are even funny bad. Can anyone confirm? Also, I love that all of Douglas's moves are just aggrandizing himself, basically. Great combo. Super great combo. Lovely attack. Sexy attack. Also, I love how he flails his arms when he's blocking. Alan likes solitude. Hates genuine society. These bios are kind of bizarre, and they read like rough drafts that needed another revision or two. They are pretty funny, though, at least. The character look blandness, though, unfortunately bleeds into the game models as well. When I said Jin Kazama for Yugo, I meant it here. David shares his design with Max Thunder of Streets of Rage, it seems. Thankfully, he cowboys up in his alternate. And there's Yuli, who looks like Pai-chan, but has Shun D's fighting style. Ant's default seems to be some sort of workout attire, like you'd seen in one of those weird workout videos back in the day, though I do fuck with her alt, simplistic as it is. And we have Saya, who gives us the Sakura-style upskirts for this game. Truth is, I don't think these designs are bad, but just nothing jumps out of them. They're very simple. Another note is that the voice acting in this game is pretty bad. Funny bad, admittedly, but bad regardless. I find it odd they tried to spread out the nationalities of these characters across the globe, but no one even attempts to speak with an accent. David's supposed to be from Texas.
You win. You've got a long way to go.
Personally, I think David should sound like this.
Ram Ranch, it rocks. Cowboys love big herd throbbing cocks.
And is British.
You win.
You're too slow.
Is that even a British accent? Kinda sounds French to me. That blandness I mentioned also goes for the unlockable characters, which you can unlock by clearing the normal mode with each character. I'll add a quick compliment here in that when you unlock these characters, they begin showing up in the game's arcade mode, so you do get to fight more people as time goes on. Each character unlocks a model swap of the character, though interestingly, each model swap, while using a good bit of the original character's movesets, have their own strings and moves too. For example, let me take the character I decided to main, David, and his model swap, Sephiroth. The biggest difference between the two, at least in my opinion, is their forward punch attack. David has this big Mongolian throat chop which instantly downs the opponent, leaving them face up on the ground. Sephiroth instead has a forward moving punch which can go into a full string. The one-winged angel's advancing mid-string is pretty good, but I preferred using David in his Mongolian chop. Why? Because it set this up. Oh yeah, we've got the big boy damage, just like in every 3D fighter. Especially from throws, especially from chain throws. Throws are techable, obviously, but damn, they hit hard. That throw I showed you does have a 4-part button input string, so it can be weird to pull off fully, but fear not, the giant swing that David has also makes an appearance, and can be done with 3 inputs, and also does 70% damage. Additionally, certain grabs you can do will leave your character mounted on your opponent. David's leg lock, for instance, can be redone with a simple input sequence, and he can hit the leg lock again and again if he feels like it, and can literally just sit on your chest and punch your face all she wants. As long as you don't tech the throw, she can just stay there, which, I gotta be honest, I'm not sure how teching works in this game, and the manual didn't enlighten me at all. I think you have to counter your opponent's input with the same input. So Anne's Mighty Punch is a punch input, so you have to press punch to counter and break the throw. Interestingly, if your opponent techs a more advanced throw, you take damage from it. Damn, Kensei, why you gotta do a grappler player like that? Typically as well, I'm used to the Virtua Fighter system where a strike will always beat a grab. Don't think Kensei has that, but it also might be countered by how dogshit the grab detection is in this game. Nothing like going for a leg grab and just ending up laying down on the ground. Oh well, at least I can roll here. Let me take a moment to talk about stages. The perspective on these stages is all out of whack. Look how giant this desk is! And those books too, it's like we're just tiny little people fighting in a giant world in this game. Oh, and since they aren't terribly remarkable, the music tracks in this game, they're just okay. I think the park theme is pretty good.
Ready?
But that's about it. An interesting note about Kensei is that it has a different system for blocking than every other 3D fighter I've seen. When you block in Kensei, while your character does block a majority of the time, otherwise they're shown to evade attacks versus just blocking them. A very cool little system, in all honesty. Since I'm here, let's talk about how the game plays. Weird as it sounds to say, I think this game does the gameplay end of things pretty well. There's definitely a bit of stiffness when it comes to juggling and strikes in truth, but it's something you can get used to pretty quickly. Outside of that, it's actually pretty fun. Execution is tight and easily learned. Grabs are insanely satisfying to hit for some reason, especially David's, and Heinz as well. It's no Virtua Fighter in terms of animation, but the attacks are decently animated. Hell, they look a lot better than your average NRS game today. Certain characters have stances, and moves from those stances too. I'm not even sure Tekken and Dead or Alive had stances at this point in history. I actually got kinda into this game. I realize I've spent almost the majority of this video dumping on Kensei, but I actually really enjoyed playing it. I liked playing David and Anne and Heinz too. Hell, Steven Seagal was even pretty fun. I kept playing because it was pretty engaging to play. It's weird. It's something you gotta try out yourself to understand, I think. But to give you my honest thoughts, it really feels like this game was developed by an AI who was just fed information about 2D and 3D fighting games by the developers. The manual seems stilted and odd, like it was written by a robot trying to describe humanity. This move from Anne? It's called Galactica Phantom, a reference to Ralph Jones from King of Fighters, or a robot randomly generating names for moves. The lack of creativity in terms of character design smacks me as pretty robotic too, and how strange a lot of the proportions are as well. It's like a robot just kind of putting stuff together. I can't lie though, this AI made a decently fun game. But here comes the truth. Where does it end up on the list? Well, it's fun, so that puts it above the majority of the games I've already reviewed. When all said and done, I'm gonna put Kensei Sacred Fist as the new number 4. Much like Avengers and Galactic Storm, everything about Kensei is just a little bit off. Models, stages, voice acting, and music, but in spite of that, it's actually pretty damn fun and well put together. It's shit, but it's honest to God some fun shit. Obviously, it wasn't something that could compete with Tekken 3 or Virtua Fighter 3 or Dead or Alive 2, which are out around the same time, but it's a fun little game regardless. I am a little sad this game didn't somehow manage to squeak out a sequel. I would have liked to see how this one evolved, even if it was just for one more game. Looking at my list, I have no idea why I reviewed 3 super good games. They're gonna be at the top for quite some time. Anyway, that's another fighting game for the list. As always, my dear viewers, my name is HadesManticore, and this here channel is City State Manticore. Thanks a ton if you watched to the end. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want more content from me. And, of course, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.